Well, gun violence marred the weekend here in Portland. Once again, 3 people are recovering from gunshot wounds early Sunday morning. Portland police say this latest incident happened around 2 a.m. outside a bar in the Lloyd district near Northeast 14th and Broadway. All 3 victims were taken to the hospital and are expected to recover. The suspect or suspects left before police arrived, so anyone with information about the crime is asked to contact Portland police. Meanwhile, a new gun law went into effect over the weekend, and Oregon lawmakers hope it will help slow down this violence.
Yeah, there have already been more than 920 shootings in the city so far this year. So here's some more on this new gun law that, as Brendan mentioned, went into effect on Saturday. Oregon State Senator James Manning Jr. is one of the chief sponsors. It allows places like the state capitol, airports, schools, and universities to ban firearms inside their buildings. And in an effort to cut down on the number of unintentional shootings, the bill also calls for guns to be securely stored and locked when they're not being used.
It's about accountability, and hopefully we will get to a place where we don't have all of this gun violence and innocent people getting killed. We got a lot of work to do, and we got a long ways to go.
If someone brings a gun into one of the places we just mentioned that can now ban guns, they can face up to a year in prison. And if you own a gun and it's not locked and secured and it gets into the wrong hands, you can face a fine anywhere between $500 and $2,000.
Well, investigators are still trying to figure out what caused an Amtrak train to derail in northern Montana this weekend. 3 people were killed. 5 are still in the hospital. One of those victims has been identified as Zach Schneider from Illinois. The train was headed from Chicago to Seattle, and some of those passengers were coming here to Portland. Jacob Cordero was on board with his dad. They were traveling to Seattle.
I'm a pretty big guy, and it picked me up and threw me from my chair into the wall, and then from that position into the other wall, until I finally righted myself and was like, oh my goodness, we're derailing from this track right now.
People who live nearby there in Montana rushed to the scene to help first responders attend to the roughly 160 passengers and crew. Medical helicopters and planes ferried the wounded to trauma centers, while strangers provided stranded passengers with rides to the airport.
Your heart hurts, your stomach hurts, you know what's going on, but at the same time, there are people that need your help.
More than a dozen federal investigators are trying to figure out the cause of this derailment, which happened near a switch on the tracks. For now, no Amtrak service will be running along that route.
A Portland family is desperate to find their loved one who's been missing for close to a week now. They're looking for Isela Morales. She's a wife, mother, sister, aunt, and daughter, and was last seen Monday near Northeast 128th and Hasselo. She's 5'5" and was last seen wearing a green shirt, jeans, and a black jacket. Her family says she doesn't have a phone or any money with her. They say it's been a difficult week for them. Yesterday, about 100 of them were passing out flyers and asking neighbors to keep an eye out. They've heard rumors Morales may still be in the area, but they say they need more help.
You know, so I know her family is missing her. She's a lovely personality, you know. She likes to joke and laugh, and you know, wants to see everybody happy. So that's always, you know, nice to see, and you know, we miss that.
So if you know where Morales is, or if you see her, you're asked to call 911.
Oregon lawmakers have one more shot today to come up with a compromise on redistricting. Oregon House Republicans refused to show up to Saturday's special session in Salem, boycotting the redistricting vote. And if Republicans don't show up by 9:30 this morning, the special session will be adjourned. At that point, the process of drawing up new district maps for Oregon would go to the Secretary of State and a committee of 5 judges. This story will continue to develop here over the next few hours, so we'll post updates throughout the morning on KGW.com and on our KGW social media pages.
Also on tap this week, Portland leaders will vote this week on whether to continue what's become a controversial contract. The Clean and Safe program aims to protect and clean up downtown, but different groups really disagree about how effective it is.
Galen Etlin this morning shares what's exactly on the line this week.
Downtown Portland is fighting to recover from pandemic downturns, protest fallout, and a rise in homelessness.
These services are needed now more than ever.
That's why the city is considering a renewed contract with the nonprofit Clean and Safe. The city contracts with nonprofits around the city to improve safety and sanitation. But in downtown specifically, critics say privately contracted security guards, sometimes armed, have a history of harassing the homeless.
We've asked so many times to stop the brutality in our streets.
Clean and Safe allows for private policing in public spaces with public funds while strongly lacking oversight, putting our most vulnerable community members at risk.
Some funding comes from tax dollars, but property owners and businesses can pay more for extra services.
General idea about tax money is that everybody pays the same amount, it gets the same protections, but these folks who have extra money get extra police officers.
The city postponed a vote until later this week after making contract changes to address months of community concerns. The new contract would create more city oversight and improve transparency, requiring Clean and Safe crews to identify themselves to the public and be subject to complaints. Cleaning services would be maintained with added resources to help the homeless community and address mental health.
No sector can do it alone. It's going to take all of us working together to restore downtown to its former beauty and vitality.
Supporters want the city to renew the $25 million 5-year contract.
And we are grateful for their service.
The city of Portland continues to face enormous challenges, and we are at a critical point in time.
One of the contracted programs through the group Central City Concern hires people who are homeless or disadvantaged to clean downtown. In 2020, they picked up 73,000 bags of trash, 47,000 needles on the streets, 17,000 in drop boxes, and removed 41,000 graffiti tags and 46,000 biohazards on the streets.
Roughly 60 people a year find employment through this program and are able to start or restart their journey of independence in self-empowerment.
Commissioner Joanne Hardesty applauded small improvements, but agreed with critics that bigger changes need to address private security issues and concerns over the financial relationship between the Portland Business Alliance and Clean and Safe. The vote is set for Wednesday, but she and others say it should wait.
So we must hit pause and listen to the community that's closest to the problems and therefore closest to the solutions.
I just ask that you listen to what the community is saying to you in a collective voice.
Galen Etlin, KGW News.